Hello and welcome to our millions of viewers here in Nigeria, the continent, and all around the world. This is The Morning Brief. We're live from our global headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Kelly Giga here in Lagos, and the Osun State axis. It's another wet Tuesday morning, July 7, 2026. I'm not sure exactly your location at this point, wherever you're watching from around the world, but it's been a wet period this season, and we're expecting more rains. The agency NIMET has warned that 27 more states risk flooding, so that's going to continue to dominate conversations right here on Channels TV and indeed the Morning Brief. But we are tracking a lot for you, and if we take our minds back to the scandal, the APC scandal, the fake DG, fake agency, that conversation continues to dominate headlines across board. And yesterday, we got an update that the father of Adeyemi was arrested. That's the latest we're hearing. Yesterday, Monday morning, the story says that the father of Prince Adeyemi, Adeniyi, the central figure in this ongoing alleged scandal, was arrested, and someone who had only come to visit the family by the police in Ogbomosho, that has left the mother of Prince Adeyemi shocked. So that's the very latest to this twist. We'll get to unpack more, for you in the course of the show today, and I'll give you some of my opening thoughts. But my colleagues are on board with me virtually this morning. Jeffrey, where's the exact location and what's going on?
Well, we woke up to this very good morning, Kelly. Good morning to Nigerians. Of course, I'm close to the office, but I just had to stop by because of the traffic we're seeing. If you're going outbound, you're outbound Lagos, somewhere just below, just as you come down from the Kara Bridge, you see this traffic. Let me switch my cameras so everybody can get to see. Maybe I'll pull it out and do a bit of a pan so people can appreciate what is going on. I hope I can zoom this in so you can see. This is exactly Opik Junction, where you drive from the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway right into our office. That's where I am at the moment. I've been able to get out of the traffic, but I just need to come live just so people can appreciate what exactly is going on. I'm not very sure, Kelly, what has caused this particular traffic. I hope I can catch this as closely as possible. So you can see articulated vehicles at this very Opik Junction, going all the way beyond the Opik Junction. But I can tell you it started around the Kara Bridge. So I'm not quite sure what is causing it, but it appears things are not quite traffic. There's an issue with traffic in front of, just ahead. Let me use the word ahead of Opik. But if you're going out of Lagos, you may be free all the way to Kara Bridge. But from Kara Bridge, if there's an alternative which I'm not aware of, you may need to look for that alternative. Else, this is what you'll be welcome to as a good morning on a slightly wet Tuesday morning here on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. But the good news is that the traffic is moving gradually. I'm out of it. I just had to park just to help people understand what is going on. We're quite unsure these days on this particular road. You come out, it doesn't look like anything before you know, voila. So you can see it's speeding up. It looks like the road ahead is getting clearer. So you can see the distances between each vehicle is getting not as close as you know when there's traffic, is back to back or bumper to bumper, as we say it in Nigeria. But the speed of the vehicles tell me that whatever has been causing this traffic or this blockade ahead of this particular road may have just been sorted out, maybe by traffic agents and all of that. So that's the latest. Kelly.
Well, Jeff, thanks indeed for bringing us up to speed. I hear that there is an accident on that route. That's the latest I'm hearing from our producers who have given me an update. And then I can see the diversion as well. So Okay, on the Long Bridge is where there's an accident. My colleague as well, Bukola, who is also coming from the opposite direction, I hear she's also somehow stuck in traffic as well. So, well, that's the latest. Lagosians and those who have businesses either in Lagos or Ogun State, or who are traveling out of Lagos, that's the latest traffic update for you at this time, so you can know how to plan your movement. Thankfully, outbound Lagos seems better, but on the Long Bridge, inbound Lagos, familiar territory, the Long Bridge axis, Kara Bridge, Tedola, most times we know how these routes have always been plagued by one event or the other. If it's not accident, if it's not man-made, if it's not the cattle market, something always just gets to put people, leave people in traffic for many hours. But thankfully, we hope that the traffic management agencies can respond swiftly and in time and see how they can restore vehicular movement as soon as possible, because it's just a Tuesday morning. There's so much Nigerians would want to achieve. It's just the start of the week as well, the second day of the start of the week, so people want to do a lot today. But Jeff, Bukola, I don't know if you can hear me. I mean, so much to unpack as regards to this alleged scandal with the PFIPC. For me, I'm just wondering why, at a time when millions and millions of Nigerians are battling, grappling, and struggling with under the weight of inflation, under the weight of food insecurity, rising transportation costs, collapsing purchasing power, insecurity, unemployment. This scandal is what is dominating national conversation. A fake agency, a phantom agency, a fake DG is what is dominating headlines and dominating national headlines. So much to dissect, so many questions indeed begging for answers. Nigerians are beginning to wonder. Some are calling for the resignation of the chief of staff to the president. The office of the SGF has been mentioned as well. The CBN has been mentioned. And just yesterday, the Accountant General of the Federation put out a statement revealing that these, the agency, the fake agency, never had opened an account with the Central Bank of Nigeria. He said that account didn't go through. So many questions indeed begging for answer. I just wonder, from my standpoint, if sometimes those who are entrusted with governing this country, if they truly appreciate the enormity of the responsibility entrusted on their shoulders. I wonder if they appreciate that responsibility, because even if this were proven in court, these allegations were proven in court as perhaps false or not true, the question remains of our institutions. Big question mark on our institutions, because we've had to x-ray this over and over again since last week when this story broke, as to these things don't just happen. The doors of government don't open inside just like that. Someone opens the door, offices and papers moved, budgets, someone saw something, people saw and heard something, and people are responsible for this. So we're waiting to see exactly what is going to play out. The statement from the Accountant General, for instance, where he's claiming that an account was never opened with the CBN, that's the country's apex bank, does not also corroborate what the presidency had said. Bayo Ononuga, in his statement, had said that the fake DG had opened an account with the CBN. So it contradicts. So the presidency, it contradicts what the presidency had released. So, and that's why a lot of question marks are indeed for the president. So we hope that this can be resolved soon. For me, it's a national embarrassment. You can see pictures of Adeyemi there meeting with international partners. So I'm not sure who he was holding these meetings with or on behalf of, if someone inside government didn't give him access. We hope that a panel can be set up as quickly as possible to investigate these allegations and let Nigerians indeed get to see whether or not these allegations are true or false. So that's what we are tracking for you this hour on the morning brief. So much also to unpack on the show this morning. We are also going to talk about Ondo State. Ondo is in the news, and that's because elections are around the corner as well. Well, it's an off-cycle state, but there are rumors that the incumbent would want to seek re-election, and there are question marks as to, by the law, does this stand a chance? The law says he cannot swear an oath twice, but those from his camp think otherwise. We'll get to explore that conversation on the show this morning. Osun State as well, this month, the governorship elections as well in Osun State. We'll get to explore exactly what is playing out there, the violence. The IGP was in that state over the weekend, I think on Friday. We'll get to also explore that elections. We are barely a few days away to that elections, and we're going to talk to the police and hear from them what exactly is going on. Is there peace now? Is there some sort of calm, in the states? Because there have been allegations and counter-allegations from the ruling Accord Party to the main opposition party, the APC in Osun State. Bullets have been thrown at each other. Words have been traded. So we're going to get to talk to the police and see what exactly is playing out there. Do we have some peace now in Osun State? So that's what we're tracking for you this morning on the morning brief. My colleagues, any moment from now, you get to see them. The club, Liverpool, says you will never walk alone. I'm not going to walk alone on the show this morning. We're back in just a moment. Everyone, stay with us.
Now we're all here. Welcome to the program yet again. Okay, you caught me the other time. I'd actually... Good morning, I'm bad. Apologies. Good morning, Bukola.
Good morning, Jeffrey. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Well, it's good to be back amid a chaotic morning.
It's unpredictable, this road. So it caught me, just like I was explaining in the car. I just told myself, I sent a message, I said, guys, this is going to be difficult. By the time you guys are getting to me, I've already left, I've already entered the OPIC, so I was looking exactly what was going on. This thing is like something like jazz. Don't worry about the meaning if you're not Nigerian.
Not jazz for music, but jazz more like...
Eventually it happened, but these are the things we have to deal with in Lagos. But thanks for holding the fort.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes maybe we have to be creative. Maybe if I had a drone, I would have been... Maybe do 30 minutes of the show right there and come, because what is morning show, breakfast show, so
yes, indeed.
report traffic is part
just
of
for a traffic advisory, Jeffrey, an articulated...
So his account is outbound Lagos. Your account is inbound
Lagos. So there's an articulated vehicle that has tumbled over just before the first red roof, outbound Lagos. And so vehicles, commuters, all categories of them, are now seeking an alternative on the other route, inbound Lagos. And so vehicles coming and the others going are facing each other, and that is recipe for disaster waiting to happen. And it appears as if security agents and traffic management authorities have woken up rather late to this, because there's very little presence of either the road safety trace from Ogun State or even LASMA on this end, unusually like them this time around. Very little presence of these security and traffic management agencies on the road. And even on the other side, that is outbound Lagos now, at OPIC very near us, there's also traffic on the Trunk B route, the route closer to the residential areas, where there's another very chaotic situation. Commuters are facing each other, those going into Lagos and those coming into Ogun State. They're facing each other, and that petrol station, Fatbames, is also very chaotic. And so this is a traffic advisory to all commuters who are set to be on their business this morning. Perhaps you want to delay your trip for another hour or two to see what it looks like eventually. And we hope that, this would be a clarion call to all security agents to deploy very quickly to the scene just before the red roof. And it has, led to a tailback all the way to Wawa bus stop end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And it's going to build, trust me, when things like this happen on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're keeping track of all of this. When we have more, we'll bring it to you. But let's bring in our guests who is standing by to bring us what the dailies are saying. Ms. Adeni Ifetayo is the CEO of Megastar Magazine. He joins us virtually from the beautiful city of Benin. Benin Republic. Oh.
No, Berlin.
Oh, there are so many B's today. I heard it's Berlin. Well, you live in the aircraft, literally, Mr. Adeni. So anyone I take, as long as it starts with a B, please accept my apologies. All right, let's get started with this Nigeria. This Nigeria, just like what we've just been experiencing, the floods, the rain, and the consequence of some of it in Lagos. Flood fears rise as NIMET flags 27 states. So some are listed: Lagos, Rivers, Delta, Bayelsa, Ogun, Kogi, top risk zones. This is more like every other year. What do you make of this story?
Yeah, they said that stitches in time safe now. So I believe that the government, especially the states that have been mentioned, they also will have been notified. They know this thing, just like you said. It's as if it happened every other year. What are the measures they are putting in place so that their citizens they are safe during this period of rainy season or what have you? So I'm sure their Ministry of Information and the federal government agency should be talking about what they are doing, how the residents or their citizens can, keep their community safe, instead of so many information going out on newspaper and their local station as well, telling their people how to keep their environment safe. Those are the tips I believe that the campaign they should be saying or doing or engaging now. Of course, we know sometimes it might be politics or security, but also flood is something that should not be toyed with. If we are saying one of the responsibility of government is to keep life and property safe, because the aftermath can be disastrous.
Mr. Fetayo, well, I mean, you're so spot on there, because this is an annual thing and it just comes and then we just make some noise about it. After that, it's back to business as usual. But let's take a look at the new Telegraph. It leads with something different in security. Nigeria shouldn't become Banana Republic. Northern Christian leaders warn. Nigeria shouldn't become Banana Republic. Northern Christian leaders warn. They say growing mob killings, grave danger to national peace, security. Sultan, Vatican unite against hate speech, fake news, moral decline. Fubara security key, foundation of any prosperous society, and all of that. I'm not sure what your assessment of this rider is, but for me, I'm keeping tabs with the fact that in Oyo states, the Oyo abductees, they have stayed there now for, I think, maybe 54 days or thereabouts now in captivity. Nothing. The army says they are ongoing operations, but those peoples are still in captivity.
For me, it has become the order of the day. Yes, in as much as they are working, they are putting their life at risk to make sure they secure the life of those children after spending 50 days. I believe they can still do better. If they are short of staff, they can, or personnel rather, they can recruit. If you are short of equipment, whether hardware or software, these are the things that I feel that the government should make a budget for and let us know, or let Nigerians know what they are doing to keep Nigerians safe. And of course, the issue of security, it does not know whether you are from the north or from the south, or you belong to this party or you belong to that party, we need to play our role as a critical stakeholder. You know, before we were saying it's happening in the northern part, now it's rubbing us in the face in the west. So just like I said earlier on, the primary responsibility of any serious government is to secure the life and property of our citizens. So I'm not really seeing where they are saying that, oh, we need more manpower or we need more personnel, we are recruiting. There was a year, was it 2 years ago, when Mr. President that or approved that they should recruit whether 20,000. I stand to be corrected, but we have not seen what have become after that. Maybe it was politicized, I don't know. So we are not seeing the numbers. How many personnel do we have securing over 250 million Nigeria? So these are the statistics I believe they should be doing, so that the citizens can have confidence in them and say that yes, we know our government, they are doing their efforts, you know, to keep us safe and sound. I must say this. I'm sure we all remember when one of our former ministers, I think, was it siblings and her children were kidnapped. You know, in 3-4 days, they swung into action. I don't know what they did. If they can do that in the same state, I think there's nothing stopping them to secure those children that were kidnapped. I just believe that they can do better than what they are doing now.
Well, indeed, the presidential candidate of the NDC did write a very pointed note to the APC government yesterday, and in fact revealing that during his visit to the Oyo State governor, it did come through that there has been no communication between the Oyo State governor and Mr. President. And, you know, it is the same condition, you know, and in fact perhaps worse, of the time of former President Goodluck Jonathan, where President Goodluck Jonathan took a whole 2 weeks before he put a call through to the governor of the state, where there had been the kidnap of the Chibok girls. And as a result, that the president should resign, or at least step down from contesting the next presidential election because of the inability to solve the security situation. But the administration could also argue that its response to security has also been proactive, unlike what obtained, you know, about a decade ago or so. But the debate on that clearly continues, with the National Assembly also promising accelerated passing of the state police bill to the 36 states assembly for consideration. And so we'll continue our scrutiny of that particular talking point. But let's head to another paper this morning, where there's a subject matter that also compels our attention. Mr. Ifetayo, FG pushes for petrol price reduction. We see here NMDPRA, that's a regulatory agency. The Nigerian Tribune is our next paper this morning, the Nigerian Tribune. NMDPRA, FCCPC, Dangote Refinery, marketers, NATO, others meet. You'll find details on page 6, read. But we also did see that interaction between federal government officials and the independent marketers yesterday. I wonder if you caught that, and was the explanation provided by the marketers you know, sufficient to justify the slow reduction of the petrol pump price to the Iran-US conflict levels, where what we bought for was somewhere between 750 and 850 naira per liter. They're saying that it depends on what they buy from Dangote Refinery and what they buy indeed from their other suppliers that will inform the pump price of petrol. Mr. Ifetayo.
Yes, because in my own little observation or research, or tend to understand why we have these resources, we refine it locally. But most of the time, we got to understand that they still source some of these products overseas, and you know, the dollar forex issue has not really helped the matter. And of course, they'll be talking about landing costs. If you are what they are selling in Lagos might little bit different from what they are selling in Delta and or even to Kano, vice versa. I think what government can also do to reduce that cushion effect, if our rail is working properly, if our rail system is working, all those heavy truck traveling for days that facing some security issue on the road, tipping some people on the road just to have a easy of passage, all those one could be reduced. And of course, there's the issue of mobile filling station, just like when we had the issue of crisis, when government said they are rolling out FLNG buses, LNG buses, so that to reduce the cost of transportation. They can do that. Mobile filling station, roll out some trucks in different states in collaboration with the state government and those marketers that operate in that state. Whatever they can do that citizens can see that, oh, government, they are actually in the interest of the masses, because some of these our leaders, they don't buy this thing. Even when I say they buy, they have access to fuel allowance, sitting allowance, furniture allowance, this allowance that the citizens, most of the citizens, they don't have access to. As you rightly said, most of our economy, 80 to 90% are informal sector. So what are they doing to make sure those people in that sector, they don't have much impact? It doesn't impact their business, it doesn't impact their daily life or activities and all of that. So their business, the marketers, they are in business, but what is government doing? Are you reducing their taxes? Are you reducing the freight costs? Are you reducing whatever demurrage at the port if their product is spending 2-3 days? So those are the things you should be telling us. Whoever must come to equity must come with a clean hand as well. So somebody who have invested his money, maybe a loan, the bank too, they have a role to play. What are they charging, when they take loans from the bank, double figure interest rate? What is government doing about that? So it all cut across, and until government address those issues, we will continue to see these face-off pushback here and there. But if they can do all that, if they can address all that, I think they can still bring down the price.
Mr. Fatah, let's stay with the Nigerian Tribune and talk about what has refused to go away. And it shouldn't go away, because we're going to stay on it until the right thing is done. The man who is said to have been running as DG of a fictitious agency under the presidency, we don't know whether he's on the run, but he's not available. I heard the court case is 27th of July. And from all the commentaries we've heard, and everybody who is conscientious has clearly said that this is not possible for only one man to execute. So there are questions to be answered across board. The Chief of Staff, the Office of the Secretary General of the Federation, the Accountant General, the National Assembly, the Budget Office. There are so many people that have to answer questions as far as this very big national scandal is concerned. But something has happened that Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has raised concern. He says Falana kicks just beneath those pictures. Falana kicks as police arrest father of alleged fake PFI PC DG. He has no link with royal lineage. Didn't stay in Oyo Palace. That's late Alafin Adeyemi family. Office of the Accountant General denies opening CBN accounts for agencies. So who do we believe? Mr. Mbayo Onanuga's statement says he opened an account, but money didn't pass through. This, the Office of the Accountant General says, well, he may have tried, he didn't complete. So I don't know. They should sort. These are the discrepancies that we see that makes people to have a lot of doubt about what's going on. FPIC controversy exposes Nigeria's dual governance system. Now, arresting the father of the man, if that is true, I think should be in violation of the ACJA Act, which I think Section 7 talks about a person shall not be arrested in place of a suspect. So what do you make of this story?
To me, I think the government or the security agency, they are not even doing what they are supposed to do. Just like you said, it touched down in different agencies, from the office of a chief of staff to the accountant general to the head of service, who deployed, who gave the order, how do they do all these things, and opening account to the CBN. I think all these people should be called to for questioning, but focusing on the man alone. I know he has his own role, unless until just like he will have his day July 27, as being said. But what are the other people who are involved? No man, I'm saying here, I stand to be corrected. No single man can pull off all these things. I know that the business has gone south. That was why all this thing is happening. Sometimes I tend to say that one of the ways that God answered the prayer of Nigerians is that there will be some revelation how they do things in the government, how our leader, approve some fictitious money or budget. Somehow, the thing will just come to the open. So going after the father for what? Unless if you said the money he had collected or have access to was transferred and all of that. But just like Mr. Falano has said that no man should be arrested in place of the suspect. Are you saying that you can't locate one man? At least he had a press conference. But what are the other actors? What are the other people? I think by now it's just only in Nigeria that some of our leaders, when you are accused, for something huge, that you still sit tight, to power. I heard in the parliament, was it about 4 or 5 years ago, just because a parliamentarian came to the parliament late, he has to step down. That because that was his responsibility. You are supposed to be there, But here we sit tight because you have somebody who will defend you. I think the body language of the Mr. President is saying otherwise. If you really want to fight it thoroughly, people who are involved, I think they should be named. This person from this agency, this person from Office of Chief of Staff, this person that approved it. But we are not seeing that. It shows that maybe we are having a double standard as we believe to. And these are the critical things that will form a conversation leading to 2027, especially fighting corruption, regardless of the party you belong to.
All right, Mr. Peter, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper this morning. It leads with something different. It says, despite glut, local cement price nearly doubles Africa's average. Despite glut, local cement price nearly doubles Africa's average. And if you look at some of the amazing work the Guardian likes to do there's some other writers there, but they're indeed really very faint. I'm not sure I can even read it from my end here, but I wonder what's your assessment of this writer this morning? Because I remember there was a time in this country where personally I had to help my father build one of his houses, and a bag of cement sold at 2,500 naira. Right now it's somewhere in the region of, I think, 11,000 naira. I'm not sure now, but that's what it is.
We will have this conversation about 2 days ago, where a real estate firm who had say you are buying this unit for APC amount of money, with their projection that as at that time the cement was selling for 3,000, I think 3,006, and that same project still remain uncompleted, and the cost of cement now is over 11,000. Even sometimes it sells close to 12,000 thereabouts. So it's just we find ourselves in a situation that if it doesn't affect government directly, they tends to to play down, or they tends not to take a stand firm or make a kind of intervention to make sure that and that is why it's been very difficult when it comes to the issue when a state government will say, oh, we want you to collect a house rent for 1 year or thereabout, or I'm looking at the time that the government will come indeed and roll out a program, especially for those who in that sector who are bearing the cost, and of course it will snowball to those, whether you want to live in that house as a tenant or is your own house, and how much are you earning, to build a house. But it's just a difficult situation we find ourselves, that as if government they don't have a clue on how to arrest the situation. It's only the manufacturer that determines what they need to sell. Cement, bag of cement, you just wake up today, they said it's so amount of money, tomorrow it's so amount of money. In fact, there's no way you can budget in this Nigeria to say that. You said, well, come again, I
Yes,
didn't get that.
according to these reports, the Guardian says it's actually 15,000 naira per bag as it stands right now.
Oh, can you imagine that? So that's what we are talking about. I heard the other day a state government who arrested a contractor, and they are trying to say, well, when we started, these are the prices, and now these are the prices, and there's to the extent that you can project, our government, they are not doing so much in that regard, especially real estate, when we have I don't know, as at the last time, over 20 million housing deficit. These are the huge sector that the government can come into and make it easier. The mortgage, I don't know how it works. Maybe it's now designed for the rich or the famous or those who are connected. There's no local housing estate that even somebody who earn, let's say, 70,000 naira salary, that in the next 20 years you can pay off this your mortgage if you are dropping 13,000 naira from your basic salary as approved by the government. But these are the situations we find ourselves. It is the citizen that we provide his own subsidy, provide his own light, provide his own electricity, provide his own water, almost everything. And these are now, I saw someone, I said, and some of these our government, some of them have houses abroad, they enjoy some of these benefits. What are they doing? You can learn and improve your own situation, because a tree does not make a forest. It's just a situation we find ourselves that whatever they push at us, we tend to have that resilient spirit to absorb it. But the government should do better, and this is an opportunity in this sector that government can come in and say, hey, we are doing this, we are subsidizing if you are doing low costing housing estate or whatever it is.
Mr. Ifeta, you just may be spot on there, because the Guardian also draws attention to some of the paradoxes in the real estate business with this expose on its front page. When it says the irony of plenty, if you looked at the left-hand corner, depending on where you're looking at your screen from, the left-hand corner, when it says the irony of plenty, 65 million tons produced. And right there at the extreme end, there's also, an illustration here about industrial success versus national need. Major producers, according to the Guardian here, are seeing a 142% profit increase, while infrastructure projects face constant stalls. And despite the prosperity that's been recorded by real estate developers, that housing deficit that you've pointed out suffices. So it means that there are some potential house owners, dreamers now, not necessarily owners, who dream of owning a home that cannot access that particular basic necessity. But let's stay on the front page of the Guardian newspaper and look at the top left right-hand corner at the bottom. There are two stories that I'd like you to tie together in your analysis, and they border on security. On the one hand, Vatican envoy Sultan of Sokoto meet at National Mosque, warn against extremism. And then there's this one from Niger and Plateau State. 10 killed, 1 injured in fresh attacks on Plateau, Niger communities. So it appears as if we're still going to be talking about the security challenge for a very long time. But what kind of conversations do you think should be happening between the religious representatives? And on the other hand, Plateau State is always in the news as far as insecurity is concerned. How worried are you about that particular situation?
Yes, let me start with the Plateau State. It's just worrisome. I think almost maybe about 20 years ago, when they would describe it as very calm, very cool, before we find ourselves in this situation. And this thing kept on, happening and all of that. But especially the federal government, because it's just beat my imagination that we are still discussing the issue of state police. They want to pass the bill. We've been talking about these things. Just like I said, it's as if it doesn't affect them directly. It tends to, I stand to be corrected, slow down in, scaling the process and getting the job done, but they can still do more. If, just like I said, if they need more personnel, the state government, with their security vote, they can, roll out. Nobody, no governor. I stand to be corrected. I've said that, oh, out of my 200 million or 300 million, or whatever million of security votes that I have, because of this situation, we've been able to deploy 10 armored vehicles, we've been able to deploy or organize between vigilante and police, their collaboration. We've been able to put in patrol vehicle, to make sure our citizens are safe. And of course, when it comes to the religion leader, I don't want to point finger. I think they need to come out more and talk to their followers, because some of these, whether they know it or not, directly or indirectly, whatever they say, shape the way their follower perceive them, shape the way their follower think or engage with the other religion. They still need to come out. They still need to come together. In fact, they still need to address some of the situation that we are all one Nigeria, divided we fall, and together we can do some amazing things, regardless of your belief. So those are the things for me. They still need to come out together more and address that whatever affects one affects all.
Let's stay with the Guardian newspaper. And the one that's the ADC, you can see the picture of the national chairman of the ADC as former Senate President, Senator David Mark. ADC accuses federal government of pushing 17 million Nigerians into acute hunger. I know that the NDU, that's the Nigerian Development Update that was released by the World Bank, had said that the poverty rate in Nigeria is about 63%. So you can do the math in terms of the exact value in comparison to whatever you believe to be the number of Nigerians, whether it's 220 million or 230 million or 200 million. But they also have the ultra poor, which means no matter what you do, they'll remain poor. But there's also the multidimensional poverty, which is a non-income poverty, which speaks to the issue of access. But there's something I want you to do in your commentary, if you can, how Nigerians can manage the two narratives. So it is also true that on the macroeconomic end, compared to the twilight of the Muhammadu Buhari administration, God rest his soul, what the Bola Tinubu administration has done is way better in terms of macroeconomic data. So besides huge debt burden and high inflation, so you can talk about reserves, talk about stability, you can talk about capital importation. We can look at, all the fancy billboard, which factually are correct. But you can also flip it. Cost of living, purchasing power, GDP per capita, also very correct. So if you look at what the opposition is saying, the opposition is correct. But if you look at what the government is saying in terms of what they celebrate, they are also correct. So it's a dilemma, but the ADC is saying 17 million is unacceptable. What do you make?
Even if it is 10 million, even if it is 5 million, it is unacceptable, just like I know some of us that have the privilege, you look at what they do abroad in the Western world, they have a kind of a welfare package. I have a friend who said that if you are out of job, let me even mention in Austria, that if you have worked for 1 year and you are out of job, whether of no fault of yours, maybe the company decided to lay down or whatever, that in the next 6 months, the government will be paying half of your salary, pending the time you get another job. And of course, also in France, I have a friend that who live on government budget that said that if you are not doing anything, there's a kind of it's a token that they give to you, but they will ask you go and do some kind of study just to keep you busy, and I'm sure we are talking about one of the, or if not the biggest economy in Africa, but it have a lot to tell on your citizen. Are they living up to that? Just like you said, yes, federal government, they are making some impactful, when it comes to their microeconomy, when it comes to the issue, foreign direct investment, etc., etc. What has this but what has it translated to? You need to be judged by the standard of living of your citizens. So in as much these are correct, but I think they can focus more on reducing the poverty level in Nigeria. I remember, was it during the administration of late Muhammadu Buhari, who they said that they make they budgeted some billions for the poor in our midst, those that 10,000 means a lot to them, 20,000 means a lot to them, or 50,000 means a lot to them, or can transform their informal sector, those who sell pure water, those who sell akara, or those who sell what have you. But those are the things I feel that the government can actually do. And of course, they can roll out a meal a day, just like they did it in some local school. If you're a Nigerian, or anywhere you find yourself around the world, around the nation, and you can afford three meal a day, or even if it's just 2, morning and evening, go to this place. And this also has to do with data. Nigeria is still suffering because our government does not have accurate data. They don't know who are those who live in a particular region, in a particular local government at a time, so that they can cater for them. But it's part of the thing that we, define the conversation leading to 2027 general election. How fair has your government done so far?
All right. Do we have time to take just one more before we wrap up the newspaper review? Let's look at perhaps we'll return to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune to look at just one more story before we exit. And I believe this is also captured in other papers. Politics is still very much in the air, Mr. Adini Ifeta. If you look at the top corner, you see appeal court to hear suit against deregistration of ADC, Accord, 3 others today. And we could also tail back to the litigation issues that have been impacting on the future of the ADC ahead of the elections. In the latest court ruling, Accord party is also named in the mix. What are your expectations as the court plans to hear the suit today? Mr. Ifeta, did you get me? Well, we'll try to get through to Mr. Ifetayo Adini to give us his concluding thoughts on this. But there are a lot of expectations, as there have been, some wins and then some losses as far as litigations are concerned.
I wish you for a couple of seconds.
Yes, I was recapping events leading to the latest court plans by the court to rule today on suit against the deregistration of the ADC and the Accord party. And I was asking what your expectations are from this latest round of court ruling.
Well, in as much as democracy will thrive, if we allow opposition to thrive, and of course, what it helps is that it helps the government, it put the governments on their toe to do what they're supposed to do. But we just appeal to the judiciary because lately, as we know that they said the hope of common man lies in the judiciary. They should do the right thing. They should dispense justice, and so that Nigeria can have confidence in them. Of course, registering a party, do they meet the criteria? If they do not, what can they do? These are the things we feel that they should do. It shouldn't be that he who pays the piper dictate the tune. The way they are making some of their judgments sound, sometimes when maybe the upper court or the lower court will contradict this, and the way another thing I want to see is the abuse of court process, which some of our politicians tends to be accustomed with. They will file one case in Osun State, go to Lagos State, go to Abuja, whether it's a delayed practice or not. But I believe our Lord Justice should dispense justice to Nigeria, not just to the political party or whoever the agency that are involved. So that is it for me. Dispense justice that Nigerians can still repose their confidence in the judiciary and say, yes, our judiciary is the last hope of the common man.
Thank you so much for coming to the program. As the CEO of Megastar Magazine, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right, when we come back after this break, we'll be talking with the first PRO as well as what is playing out in Osun State. The August the 20th election is coming up, and all eyes will be on that off-cycle election. It's going to be the big one before the biggest one, which is the general election. We're also going to talk about what is playing out in Lagos as far as flooding is concerned and the potpourri of other issues around politics. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. Of course, security is always a huge topic as far as the interventions of the subnationals and, of course, the federal government is concerned, and of course the different peculiarities in the north or in the south. But ahead of the off-cycle election, there is, in Osun State, there is a huge concern over what exactly is responsible for the killings and accusations and counter-accusations between rival groups contesting for the top job in that particular state. And that's where we're starting from. And joining us on the program this morning is the Force Public Relations Officer who joins us from our Abuja studio, Anetie Iniedu. Good morning, Mr. Iniedu. Thank you for joining us on the Morning Brief.
Good morning, Nigerians, and thank you for having me here.
Let's begin from Osun State. Even before the killing of one young man by the name Ajayi Aderogba a few days ago, nearly 2 weeks ago now, there has been a back and forth between the ruling Accord Party government in that state and the opposition, the APC, over the destruction of posters, outdoor advertisements and violence. And now we're seeing killings with accusations and counter-accusations between the campaign councils of both political parties contesting for the top job. Has the force at the national level received a report from the State Police Command in Osun over investigations, and what are the outcomes of who exactly is responsible, and why has there been no visible reduction of tension in the political atmosphere in Osun State?
First of all, I would like to thank the Inspector of Police for approving me to be here. We, as a force at the force headquarters, we have received several reports on killings in Osun State. We've gotten about 30 cases of political motivated murders and killings in Osun State. However, these are presently under investigation at the moment, and as soon as we are done, I would let you know. Thank you.
But I wonder if that explanation, that brief explanation would suffice, especially because you have rightly noted that what we're seeing are killings, not just an isolated event. Why is it taking long for, outcomes, tangible outcomes to come through? And why has there been no reduction in the, aggression between the parties involved?
You must understand that murder is a felony, and as such, investigations into allegations of murder must be carefully investigated before we rush to the press. That is ongoing. However, like you have said, due to the intervention of the Inspector of Police, IGP Olatunji Rilwan Disu, PSC Daga NPM, killings in Osun State have drastically reduced. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Iniedu, I didn't say that killings have reduced. You're the one that has said killings have reduced. But more importantly, does it look like, because political actors are involved, that the force is trying to delay and perhaps cover up some of those who may be responsible, who are from the main political parties?
The 23rd Indigenous Inspector General of Police IGP Olatunji Rilwan Disu, PSC Daga NPM, has zero tolerance for any act of crime or impunity in our country. The police, as it stands, will never be party to any cover-up. You can listen to the statements of the IG at the government house in Osogbo and at the Ataujas Palace. The Commissioner of Police in Osun State has been given marching orders to arrest anyone or group of persons involved in these acts. We will not tolerate it moving forward. And that is the IGP's message to Nigerians. Thank you.
What you're saying is that so far no arrests whatsoever have been made.
In Osogbo, arrests have been made. A few arrests have been made. And parades, if you look at our press statements from that command in a few months, arrests have been made and suspects have been charged to court. However, it is prejudice for me to start commenting about cases that have been charged to court. But as soon as we get convictions, we'll inform the general public. Thank you.
Confirm for us if any of those cases or those arrested, if any of those cases have been linked to the allegations around murder.
That is, you have confirmed that already. We are presently, we have, like I told you earlier, we have 30 incidents of politically motivated killings in Osun State. And that is being investigated and charged to court as I speak to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Nedi, so let's break this down. You're the first PRO, so we need all the information we can get. So that we'll put the right record in the right places. I did interview Mr. Do, who is the executive director of Kimpact Initiative, one of the CSOs that cover elections, and he said that CSO have been able to identify or report about 40 incidents, violent incidents in Osun State. Now you're saying about 30 motivated, politically motivated murder. Now, how many persons, so I want to take it that the cases that are in court may be predominantly cases of people who are alleged to have killed. Am I correct?
Definitely.
Good. So let's talk about how many, is it the 30 persons? So how many persons have been arrested? Because we're trying to put records straight here. How many persons have been arrested?
At this moment, I will not be able to give you adequate figures, but if you give me some time, I will get back to you on that.
You're the PRO, you should give us that figure, but I'll take that for a moment. But let's talk about what the IGP said when he went to the government house. He accused, the right accuse, is what accused correct? Well, he said to the governor that people have told him that certain persons who committed crime have been left in the government house, that the governor is shielding, those were his words, that the government is shielding people in government house. But he also said that it looks like both sides are shielding people. How far has that gone in terms of getting the people who have alleged to have committed these crimes from those that are shielding them, whether from the APC camp or from the Accord Party camp, this time the government camp?
Thank you so much for that question. While we were in Osogbo, the IG met with every stakeholder, from the traditional rulers to the CSOs and the government. There were counter accusations from each side. However, you can remember that the IG said he has given the Commissioner of Police marching orders to ensure that no one is spared. And already, we are emplacing a lot of activities to ensure that this does not reoccur in Osogbo anymore. Thank you.
PRO, if there are cases in court, is it the state that has initiated those cases in court, or is it the aggrieved parties that have initiated cases in court against those suspected to be linked to the murders that you have identified?
Cases of murder are normally prosecuted by the Nigerian police force. And so the Osun State Command is on this right now. Thank you.
So, if the Osun State Police Command is prosecuting on behalf of the state, are they prosecuting without thorough investigation? Have they headed to court without thorough investigation?
Like I told you, cases like this, I would give you adequate information as soon as I get them. Thank you.
No, because you say investigations are still ongoing, yet the Osun State Police Command is already prosecuting. So if they're in court prosecuting and trying to get convictions against those who are allegedly involved in murders, why are they headed to court without adequate investigation, without outcomes?
Now, this is not just one incident. These are several incidents which, like you've confirmed, happened at different occasions. Some of them are under investigation, and some have been actively charged to court.
So for those...
And so I will give you brief as soon as I get full details from the command.
So for those that have been actively charged to court, there are outcomes from those investigations. Can you tell us what those results are? Who are those that have been fingered? Who are those who are perpetrating violence in Osun State ahead of the critical elections?
I'm not allowed to comment about cases that are being charged to court. But as soon as the convictions come out and the results from the court come out, believe me, you'll be updated. I assure you, Nigerians will be updated on the outcome of cases that are being charged to court.
So, and you identify these killings as politically motivated?
Most definitely from the complaints we've received, and the IG has confirmed that these killings are politically motivated.
So as a result, we cannot rule out the Accord Party or the APC's involvement in these killings, right? Because the contention has been between those particular political parties.
We can't rule out the involvement of politicians in this incident because the IG in Osogbo also warned parents to ensure that their kids are not used as thugs in the build-up to the election. The election is just less than 6 weeks from now, and we all know that what we're hearing and seeing from Osun State is as a result of the build-up to the elections that are upcoming. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Anyedi, listening to you now, one can tell that you're trying to be as careful as possible. And we understand because it's a very sensitive period. August 15 is just around the corner, 39 days to go. I'm not sure just how fruitful that meeting was between the IGP, Olatunji Disu, and the governor, Mr. Adeleke. But remind us again how many police officers we have in this country.
As we speak, the number of police officers in this country, while I don't want to give you exact figures, we are way over 400,000 presently across the nation, active service policemen.
Okay, so for Osun State, how many do we have? Are there plans to, with the IGP's visit, were more police officers deployed? Because aside the violence there, the thuggery, there are also reports of abductions and kidnappings, especially around the border communities in Osun State. So how many police officers do we have in Osun State?
First of all, I want to assure indigenes of Osun State that the IG's visit was very fruitful and productive. You can hear it even in the words of the executive governor of the state, where he said, if not for the intervention of the IG, Osun State would have become something else. As I speak to you, the IG has ensured the deployment of additional specialized units to Osun State. We have PMF, we have personnel from the counter-terrorist unit, we have personnel from the SIS deployed. We also have personnel from the intelligence response team and the special tactical squad deployed to Osun State.
So,
as I speak to you, we have also increased our drone and helicopter patrols. around the border communities of Osun State. We have improved our intelligence relationship and operations with other sister agencies. These are a few things that the IG has put in place to maintain law and order and to protect life and property.
I don't know whether that's impressive or to say whether it's impressive or not. The audience will be able to decide. After 30 people have been killed, whether that is impressive or not, I'm sure the police itself and the audience can judge. Because when you say prompt intervention after 30 people, by your own words, have been killed, politically motivated killing. So this is something that is avoidable. Talk to us about the back and forth between the governor and the commissioner of police, which the IGP openly warned that he doesn't want to hear anything in that direction, because apparently the governor has been having a running battle with the commissioner of police. What was that really all about?
It is very logical that when you have elections coming up, typically in Nigeria there will be fingers pointed, especially at the Nigerian Police Force as the lead agency for internal security. The IGP is quite objective and also received complaints from the state government against the Commissioner of Police. However, if you listen to the IGP's response, he said something. He said he has warned the Commissioner of Police to stand up to his duties, and he has guided him on what to do concerning the accusations from several stakeholders as well as the state government. And I want to assure you, you will see results moving forward.
The question remains, what was the issue between the governor? You didn't answer, sir. What was the issue between the governor and the commissioner? Under his watch, perhaps these 30 persons died. You can correct me if it happened under his watch. I mean, we can lay the blame on the governor, who is the chief security officer, and the commissioner of police, who is supposed to help in managing policing in the state. Is it a question of persons perpetrating crime are not being stopped or not picking them up when they should pick them up and charging them? What exactly were the complaints? Because these are the issues that has generated a lot of bad blood in the polity, besides the politics itself.
There were several accusations against the Commissioner of Police from the governor. One of them, the governor claimed that the Commissioner of Police was being partisan. Secondly, the governor also claimed that the governor was shielding, the governor also claimed that the CP was shielding suspects. The CP also adequately briefed the IG, and the IG, like I told you, has told him what to do, and necessary actions are being taken at the moment to ensure that we do not hear any case of politically motivated killing anymore from Osun State.
So it does look like, you know, a contention, a power play here between, you know, the Osun State Police Command, torn between loyalty to the state governor and buttons being pressed from Abuja, which has control over the police force. Is that what is playing out here?
I wouldn't give in to that, because if you say buttons were being placed from Abuja, one of the things the governor alluded to was recognizing the timely intervention of the Inspector General of Police. And so the posture of the force is that we will not tolerate this, any act of crime, impunity, or murder in Osun State anymore moving forward.
All right. There's so many other issues to explore. We could talk about the seeming helplessness of the force, either in Osun State or indeed in other states of the Federation as far as security is concerned. But before we wrap up our conversation on this, we cannot help but try to glean more information from you about other issues, especially as they have to do with the continued investigation of the alleged, I'm being very careful with my words now, con man who has, you know, been involved in certificate forgery over a fake agency, the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council. We understand that Prince Adeyemi Adeniyi's father has been arrested alongside another member of his family. Can you provide details for us as far as that particular unfolding development is concerned?
At this moment, I would likely want to let you know that I have no information on that, and I have no permission to speak on that at the moment. But in due time, the force will release a press statement concerning that investigation. Thank you.
So, just before we let you go, Bukola, so you cannot confirm or deny that the police has arrested the father of the gentleman. Is that what you're saying?
At this moment, I don't have any information on that, so I cannot confirm or deny.
All right, Bukola.
All right, we must thank you very much. Talking with you and trying to get information from you has been like getting a needle out of a haystack. But we appreciate your coming all the same. We've been talking with the Fourth Public Relations Officer who has joined us from our Abuja studio, Mr. Iniedu Anietie. Thank you so much for coming on the Morning Brief.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
We hope the next time you come on the show, you have more information this time to share with us.
Thank you.
All right. Kelly, you have this next one.
All right. Well, Osun State stays in the news. This time we get to speak with one of the players. So long as that election is concerned, 39 days to go. August 15 is the date of the Osun State's governorship elections. We're joined this hour by the head media and publicity committee of the Osun APC Governorship Campaign Council, Remi Omowaye, joins us live on the program now. Mr. Remi, a lot of fingers are pointing at you and the APC. Allegations and counter-allegations around political thuggery. Why are you making the state so ungovernable for the Accord party leadership? You may have to unmute your mic, please.
Good morning, viewers at home. Good morning, well, that's a blatant lie. First and foremost, let me make this clear. Those that died are 90 members of our party, and the killing of about 30 people is not the zone that started
You may have to be a bit more audible, Mr. Remi. We're having difficulty hearing you, please.
Can you hear me clearly now?
Fantastic. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I said I need to clear this. The killings started since Governor Nike became governor. The tactically politically motivated killing the first player referred to did not just start today. It started likely in the last elections. Governor Nike became governor. And I can tell you 95% of those killed are members of our party. So it's laughable when you see the governor coming out and saying this violence is coming from us. The IG was showing a few days ago and saw what he said clearly. One of those once arrested for killing in the state resides in the government house. I mean, he was granted bail, he jumped bail. His name is Emir Ajabade. He jumped bail and he stays in the government house. You only see Emir when the governor is going on the municipal things around the government. So the IG was very, very correct to say there is intel that the governor harbors some of these wanted criminals in the government house. So for us, no life is worth losing. For us, we don't wish to step on anybody's blood to reclaim our shore. So we need to just beg the governor, and the governor should just please allow us to have peaceful election in Osun State.
And when you say the killing started when the governor took over leadership, I'm wondering if the governor would want to kill his own people. I'm wondering if, for instance, as the campaigns continue to build, if the governor and his team are the ones setting up the billboards and destroying those billboards at the same time. Mr. Remi.
We are not getting this. It is members of our party that they are killing. Are we going to be killing the members of our party?
I'm not sure how you have so much evidence that it is members of your party that is being killed, because
there are people that I know. There are people that we know. There are people. It's not. We are not just saying this for saying. Say there are our people. We can give you evidence. We can give you photo evidence. We can give you the address. We have written petitions severally. We have made notes about this. We have the video evidence. So we are not just saying this. When the IG came and said the governor harbors criminal, yes, a known criminal that everybody knows in Osun, who was arrested last time, he granted bail and he jumped bail and he stays in the government house. There are video evidence seeing him around the governor, seeing him in the government house. So we are not just saying this to blackmail the governor. We are saying the facts.
So, Remy, let's be clear on what the PRO didn't help us so much with information. What he said is 30 persons that have been killed due to politically motivated reasons. He didn't give us the time of when those killings happened, but excuse me, a separate time. So, but the IGP, when he was speaking at Government House, was very clear that the killings are happening on both sides. It wasn't just the government side, or as alleged, or the APC side. So, what information, as you are alleging, and he also talked about shielding. The shielding, if you listen to the IGP, which I heard him on one of the videos I saw, he wasn't talking about the governor only shielding. I think that was what was made popular. But if you listen to him, he was also talking about shielding on both sides. So are there persons the APC is shielding that are killers that have not been able to be arrested by the police to face prosecution?
We do not have capacity to shield. It's only the governor that has capacity. He can't keep someone in the government house. Now, let me tell you, a killing happened in the town called Ilogo about 2 weeks ago, and the alleged member of our party is being arrested. We are not, I can tell you for free, the candidate of our party, Asiwaju Nurudeen Bole Ebamiji, has said this severally, that he's not going to condone any form of violence. So if there's allegation or any member of our party is alleged, we have asked the police, do your work, and they picked a few of them.
So, Remy, so let's be factual now. When was this? Because the IGP visited because of tension, so that at least the federal presence can come there. It said both the governor or the government and the APC are shielding killers. So I want to say materially that perhaps at the time the IGP came, both sides were still shielding killers as alleged. When you say you don't have the capacity to shield, and whoever has been accused has been arrested, was the person arrested after the IGP left?
No. The arrest happened a few days before the IGP came. But I'm saying this again, that we do not have, we're the opposition, we do not have capacity to shield. And my own candidate, Bolo Ebamiji, is a peace-loving person. And we don't have any reason to perpetuate violence. Because for us, we have said it from the day one that our campaign is going to be issue-based. We are not fighting anybody, we just want to campaign and want the people of Osun to vote for our party. We don't need violence. It was Governor Adeleke that introduced this high level of violence into our space. And that was why I told you earlier that people that have been killed are largely members of our party. I can tell you 95% of those that have been killed are known members of our party. So that's what I'm explaining to you, sir.
So you say those who have been killed are known members of your party, and you say 95% of those who have been killed, these 30 persons that the force PRO has mentioned, are members of your party. Can you name them?
Well, I might not be able to name them. I might not be able to give you a name off right now, but we have the records, we have written petitions severally, we have the video documentary, we have played it on a long number of platforms. So, okay, I know of Sheriff. Sheriff resides in Oshogbo. To date, we have not even seen the body of Sheriff. I know of Said Olagunju. Said Olagunju is from Ikire, Ward 9 Ikire. He was abducted, and the video is everywhere. And the next thing was his corpse. And even a serving chairman, Remy Abbas, a serving chairman of the local government, was killed in the broad daylight, and his corpse was on the ground. I mean, the video was everywhere. And it will interest you that an appointee of Governor Adeleke was arrested for killing of Remy Abbas. And as I speak to you now, the man has also jumped bail. His name is Honorable Jordan. He has also jumped bail. Me that I'm even talking, I was I was attacked some months ago. They raided my vehicles with gunshot. One of my security aides got hit by the bullet. So we are not saying this just because we want to blackmail the governor. We are saying this on behalf of the campaign council of APC that the governor should please call his talks to order. We don't want violence.
All right, Mr. Mowaye. Mr. Mowaye, you have identified 3 persons out of 30. That is certainly not 95% of 30. Now, who killed Ajayi Aderogba? Pardon me. Hold on. Who killed Ajayi Aderogba, an identified supporter of the Accord Party? Who killed that young man?
Now, Senator Fadansi, Senator representing Osun East, granted an interview last week, and he said the killing was a court-related killing, and that he had written to the IGP long before now about the young man that died. It's quite unfortunate that he was killed in that manner. We do not support any form of violence, but he has told the whole world that it's a court-related battle. And when the young man was buried, it also showed. As a matter of fact, there is a release by an organization today in Osun saying that today is 7/7, that it's a day for celebration of a particular court group, and that there are indications that they might be reprisal. He had called on the police to tighten up security. So you see, there are times when some of these court killings, related killings happen. You see the governor saying it is politically motivated. For us, nobody is worth killing. You can do your finding. This said person was even released from a prison. Sometimes they go for murder. So we are not interested in fighting anybody. We are not interested in causing chaos in the state.
Yes, you have made that point, and let's see how we can squeeze in as many questions as possible. So, let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the performance of the police in Osun State?
You said what? I didn't get that question.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the performance of the police in Osun State?
Well, I think the police are trying their best. It's just that they've not gotten support from the governor. In the last 3.5 years, there's not been any form of support from the government to the police. Some of the wanted criminals are appointees of the governor, and they are being aboard. I mean, they are in the government house. The chairman of NURT, of his own faction, was arrested broad daylight with English pistol, and the man too, the governor shielded him. So I know they've been having a lot of challenges from the police, but I think the police can do better. They've been trying their best, but we just hope they do better.
All right. Well, maybe one final question from my end before I yield to my colleagues. So when you also look at your party in Osun State, how united are you with the national arm of your party? Are you getting the kind of support that you need from your party, especially with the elections just 39 days away?
We are getting full support from Mr. President to the party leadership in the state and the national. We are getting full support because they also know that the Governor Ademola Adeleke has messed up as the governor. He has failed the people of Osun, and they want APC to reclaim Osun. So we have full 100% support from Mr. President down to the leadership of the party in Abuja and in the state.
Remy, you make it look like it's only the governor's side that is killing. That is not correct. I just pointed it to you that your people also killed, as alleged, on both sides. The IGP said so. So, because... just hold on.
We are not the police, we are not the court. We cannot say people of my party are killing. You don't have to take position. You are journalists.
No. I'm not. Remy, calm down. I'm not taking position. I'm quoting what the IGP said. So let's be clear. The IGP said. The IGP said in government house.
Attitude. That's a lie.
IGP said that both sides are shielding people that perpetrated this crime. That's why we're asking you on your own side. I don't know whether I get the drift.
I said this thing clearly. It's the members of our party that are being killed. And you are saying the IGP said they are shooting.
So are you saying that the other people have not been killed? I'm not saying, Remy, go and watch that video. I don't know whether you were in that hall. The IGP was very clear on saying he's not going to take these killings anymore. That all sides, whoever is shielding anybody, if they're going to come after them. And he gave the commissioner a warning that he doesn't want to hear any excuses anymore. The video is out there in the public. So are you saying categorically that there were no killings that were perpetrated from your end as alleged? Alleged. That's the key word here.
But there's none that we know of. There's none that we know of.
I mean,
the guy that was alleged to have been involved in political killing has been arrested.
And Mr. Mowaye, we would appeal to you to make available the records that you claim that your party has of the other members of your party that have allegedly been killed by the ruling party in the state, because you have provided us only 3 names so far amid this interview. And it is important to point out that there may be enough blame to go around as far as the political violence is concerned, because it's hard for us to believe that it is the ruling party that would pull down posters high up, sophisticated posters in Osun State, that are more like advertisement billboards that have been hung with iron bars. It will be difficult for us to believe that it is the Accord Party that has pulled down its own posters, while we also acknowledge that amid this violence, the posters of the APC have also been pulled down. But for you to ascribe the entire blame 100% to the Accord Party amid this interview, it is hard for us to accept that. So we want you to provide us with the records that you claim to have that show that indeed 95% of your members have been killed amid this politically motivated violence that seems to be sadly continuing in Osun State. So please assure us that you'll be providing that for future interview references.
In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to send you the video evidence and all the records that are available. I'm surprised that your platform is playing ignorance to this. Remy Abbas, a sitting council chairman, was killed in the broad daylight. And the allegation, the person arrested for this killing is an appointee of the governor, Jordan. I just told you now that Emir jumped bail. Emir is in the government house. You see his video circulating in the government house. I just told you now, Said Olangoju that was killed in the killing. You see, you wouldn't expect me to come here and roll out all the 30 names.
Right.
If you want it, you can make it available to you. You must promise us that you are going to pull it out.
All right, Remy, I'm sure you have my number, so you can send. The point we're making is that the IGP had blamed all sides. I hope you understand what we're saying. So we're asking for your own end of these all sides, which is why he wasn't mincing words when he was talking to the governor. He wasn't mincing words when he was talking to the honorable commissioner. It was as clear as crystal. I hope you understand, Mr. Remy.
Well, I'm not getting your point, because for me, I am on ground. On the receiving side,
all right. Well,
we have been making money so long that there's one on the receiving side.
Yeah.
We are going to make this evidence available to you.
Remy, please. You've said a lot. You said we are playing ignorance. We are waiting for that video, But our job here as journalists is to educate and inform the people. But let's anchor here. For me and for those of us on this side of things, is that the people are the ones bearing the brunt in all of this. And so please ensure that your party pays attention to the people of Osun State. They don't deserve all of this violence. But we must anchor at this point. Remy Omowaye is the APC Osun State spokesperson. Thank you indeed for your time on the program.
I'm going to make those videos available, and you must promise me that you are going to show it.
We are looking forward to them.
You get it now, and you must promise me you are going to show it.
If the NBC rule permits that, definitely you'll be the first to see. That's how much you can take, Remy. Thank you indeed. But this is the Morning Brief. We'll take a moment now. When we come back, we'll turn to the environment, something that concerns you and I. We're back in just a moment. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. And away from politics, let's talk about our environment. Bringing in our guest, the Commissioner of Waterfront Infrastructure Development in Lagos State, Mr. Dayo Bush Alebiosu, joins us right here in our studios. Good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
You know, several ministries have come here to try to explain to us why Lagos is always prone to these things called flood. We've seen what has happened in the coastal line of West Africa all the way to Ghana. We even saw the president using a helicopter and all of that. But Lagos one is particularly unique because this looks like a recurrent decimal, and we keep fighting this over and over again. So from your colleague, Mrs. Kumba Ohampo, was here, and he gave an expose. He said, look, I think it may almost be, using my words now, naive to believe that there will not be a day when these things will happen. But from your ministry point of view, what can be done differently to help this situation?
Well, it's important to identify what the problem is in the first place. And the problem is nothing other than habits, bad habits. When you look at the issue of flooding, the issues with drainage and things like that, I actually listened to, I saw a clip of him here talking about a particular area where they had done some land reclamation that was, where they got judgment from the courts. Fine, no problems with that. We will always honor the rulings of the courts. However, there are processes. Say, for example, if you get, even if the government decides to dash you a piece of land, a portion of land, does that mean because it was given to you by government, you shouldn't seek planning approval? Not at all. Now, it was discovered that at the point of reclamation, because they hadn't reached out to us, this was just as I was sworn in as commissioner, we got to discover that some drainages, some channels had been blocked. And of course, we had arranged several meetings in my office. I think about 3 or 4 different meetings between us, the Ministry of Environment, Physical Planning, Office of the SG, the Surveyor General, Waterfront. We looked at it, we identified it was blown up, you know, and we saw where the problem was. And of course, we kept insisting that they would have to move. But you know that at the end of the day, consideration is always given to the amount spent. And we're saying, you know what? The role of government is not to cause problems, but to look for a solution. Now, why don't we do this? Why don't we move what you've done? Because dredging is mainly pumping of sand, diesel, and labor. Why don't you pump from where it is, push it further? Which was the reason why we had asked that this Office of the Surveyor General be sat as well in all of those. And of course, when we were done, we referred them to the Ministry of Environment. We didn't see them, they kept coming, and of course we kept insisting that there's no 2 ways to it. You have to go back and do the right thing. The channel isn't mine. I don't know much about the channel, but I can see that the channel has been blocked. So we referred them there. The rest is history. And that's one of the major problems that has caused flooding in that area. Of course, you would always see people's habits, dumping of refuse, throwing things. There's numerous times we've seen these CCTV cameras. There was actually a case even in Koshofe where they had gone to arrest the person at home because the camera picked his license plate, dumping refuse on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. So, of course, the person was charged to court. And you see these things happen all over. The first thing is some even dump feces into the lagoon and things like that. This is the same lagoon that feeds us. You know, you're eating fish that's feeding off feces. So all of these things eventually will come back to bite us on the behind. And this is just a typical example of what we're seeing at the moment.
So there's a common thread in your diagnosis and that of the Commissioner for Environment, and I think both of you are pointing to bad behavior.
Habits.
You have also pointed to dredging, right?
Absolutely.
So between dredging, and I recall the commissioner also talked about what people, according to him, are ignoring, and that Lagos is a coastal state.
Correct.
And the dumping of refuse indiscriminately. So between these three issues identified as factors, which trumps the other in the culprit here that is responsible for the flooding in Lagos, from your own perspective as Commissioner for Waterfront?
They go hand in hand. Illegal reclamation, illegal dredging affects it on one hand, habits affect it on the other hand. At the end of the day, those who, out of habits, those who dump refuse aren't doing it because they want to make money from it. However, those who are reclaiming illegally are doing it for commercial purposes. So you have both sides, you have a balance causing that.
We must find out the major culprit here in order for us to identify whether this is a management or mismanagement problem, and then we can speak to the relevant ministry in question. So which for you trumps the other?
From my aspect, from my point of view, from my ministry, from my duties as waterfront infrastructure development, of course, I can only speak on the things that we see that concerns us, which is illegal dredging, illegal reclamation. Because when you do, there's a reason why you go through processes. There's a reason why before we even we lay certain things and procedures down to say, listen, you have to go get your EIA, because we need to know what the impact will be on the environment. We need your EIA, we need your drainage clearance, we need your layout. It has to be approved by physical planning, and these are people with whom these are ministries with whom we work together. Now, when you do not, but the process starts from the application to waterfront infrastructure development. Now, where that isn't done, who now approves it who does drainage clearance for them? Who does the EI, the environmental impact assessment for them? Who does the planning, the layout approval for them? Who checks levels to say, okay, we've seen cases where some, unfortunately, those who are badly hit are those people who fall prey. They just have, some are just aware that, some are of the opinion that, oh, this is an opportunity for investment, and they're investing in the wrong thing. So I think it's something that has to be done collectively. It's a battle that has to be fought collectively. A major reason why we're saying, part of the reason why we're saying we wouldn't support this is, I've said it here on a couple of occasions, to say that up till date, I have not issued not one dredging permit, not one dredging or dredging permit in my ministry. Because obviously when we first got here, I looked at what the bathymetric survey showed us of the Lagos Lagoon, and it was very clear. Now you see a lot of those reclamation works going on the Lekki-Ajah axis. When we started, they were pumping from 3 kilometers away. And now they're pumping from as far as 14 kilometers away from Ikorodu. Now, nobody's talking about Ikorodu, and I continue to hammer to say, listen, the community also must protect, because there's no way that dredging will go on there without people seeing it. It's not something you do underwater, it's something you see clearly. The few people, on the occasions that they actually reach out to us, we go there, we get them, but you can't be everywhere at the same time. So it's something you have to, if you're in the United Kingdom, for example, you're on the train, you constantly say it's sorted. There's a reason why they continue to say those things, to encourage the people to work, because government can't do it all by itself.
So are you taking responsibility also? For? Just as Commissioner Tokunbo Wahab had taken responsibility and apologized Lagosians, are you taking responsibility for part of the flooding problem?
Well, when you take responsibility, it means you're aware and you're accepting the fact. I can apologize to say, we're sorry for the pains they're feeling, but I'm not going to take responsibility for what somebody else has done that I'm not aware of. We continue to chase, we continue to go, we're always constantly on monitoring. There are cases where we've charged them to court. I know that people like Tokunbo Wahab and people like me aren't the favorites of people out there. There's a reason for that.
So is there a capacity problem if you haven't issued one permit in your ministry and dredging continues indiscriminately? Do you have a capacity problem with your task force to go and rein in on those who are dredging indiscriminately and causing problem for the rest of Lagosians who want to, live comfortably in their homes, whether there are rains or not?
Okay. Now, there's no country in the world that's free of crime. Not one. Name one country in the world. The only thing you can do is to put laws in place, to put certain things in place to reduce the amount of crime that's being perpetrated out there. And this is what we're doing. And you have to put different things in place. Say, for example, if we had continued to issue dredging permits, then we would be culpable. But we're saying we've not. I can count off the top of my fingers the number of approvals we've gotten for islands to even be reclaimed. These are things that some of them I met on ground, some of them started with us over the last couple of years. Why did it take so long? It's because we wanted to make sure that all the T's were crossed and all the I's are dotted.
Mr. Commissioner, I mean, I'm beginning to think maybe you're a lawyer. You're doing your best not to acknowledge that the government is perhaps complicit, but your job is to regulate. Your job, that oversight function is there. And so if you are not willing to take responsibility for it, then I think there's a major challenge here. I give you an example. I mean, I know it's not your job as well, but if the Lagos State government, for instance, allows its residents to thrash their waste on the middle of roads. I don't know where that is coming from, but for a metropolitan city, it beats my imagination that people would have to bring their refugees from their houses and put them in the middle of the road. But my question to you is, if we continue on this trajectory, where for every time it rains in Lagos, and the warnings are there from NIMET, they are not interesting times ahead for us. So if Lagos continues on this trajectory, on this path, where we are hearing of stories where in Makoko, for instance, the dwellers there were chased away. There are reports and rumors that, the government is planning to build some sort of estates there. The Eco-Atlantic people are still saying, the government had to chase the water away. Someday the water will fight back and all of that. If we continue on this trajectory, for someone who occupies that office and who knows so much about waterfront infrastructure, what do you think or fear the most would happen to us?
If I had continued to issue dredging permits, knowing fully well its impact, and I ignore them, then I would look in the camera and say, I'm sorry, I apologize. But where you do everything, you put everything. Somebody said, a wise man said, if you think your salary is nothing, try unemployment. Now, you can decide you don't like the police, Let the police leave the streets for a day and see the chaos that happens. You go on water, you see people. You know what? We should go together and water someday so you see what we face on a regular basis. There have been publications even on the pages of the newspapers saying, sack this man. Why do you think they did that? It's because we didn't compromise. If we had compromised, we wouldn't. Why would they have paid out by saying, sack him, get rid of him? So it's something that it's a battle you continue to fight. You don't stop. However, sometimes it can be overwhelming. You have to be proactive, and you have no choice sometimes than to be reactive. So you shouldn't kick a man at the point where he's being reactive to say he or she should be held responsible, particularly where even the people you're going up against to say we're not going to allow that happen are also trying to pull you down over.
So if we continue on this path, what do you fear the most would happen?
We already know. I knew that we couldn't continue on this path, and that's the reason why I've also been getting in touch with those communities in Ikorodu saying, listen, you guys have to rise up there. What do you think would happen when they continue to pack your sand? On this program, we've been here to talk about issues of illegal dredging, how it affects food on the table, how it affects the environment, and so many other things.
So it's not enough for us to continue to talk.
Just a moment, Bukola.
It's not about talking, it's about action. You see, it goes hand in hand. Even when you go to court, they still let you still talk before you're sentenced.
All right, so let's talk about something someone sent to us about some illegal reclamation in line with what you're talking about around the Chevron. The commissioner spoke about it as well. I had to maybe physically intervene. Whether that borders around your ministry as well, because we're talking about reclamation here as well. So we'd like your comment around that illegal reclamation around that Chevron area, and also illegal reclamation going on around the Third Mainland Bridge. Because just like my colleagues have alluded to,
we'll speak.
You say you've not signed off on anything.
We'll speak to that now. I said I haven't signed, I haven't issued one dredging permit in Nigeria.
So I'd like you to speak to this because of time.
Fantastic. Now, that reclamation work going on by the Third Mainland is being done by a company called FBT Coral. He got approval from the federal government, got approval from the state, laid everything down. Now, shortly after, there was a report saying that from the Federal Ministry of Works saying that dredging activities should not be going on by the bridge. Now, it was discovered that he was not dredging. What's dredging? Pumping of sand. He wasn't dredging. He was pumping from several kilometers away. But he would move the sand and put it there for the purpose of reclamation. He passed, he submitted his EIA, he passed it, he got his drainage clearance, he got every other thing. At a point in time, we had to stop him for over a year, saying, you know what, until you get clearance from the Ministry of Works. They set up a committee, they went, they looked at it, they came back to us and said, it's okay, he's free to proceed. I'm only an architect, I'm not an environmentalist, I'm not an engineer, I'm not all of those. And all of those people came together to tick the box to say it's okay for him to continue. So to refer to that as illegal reclamation, I wouldn't say so, particularly when, I'm sure if I were to refer to that as illegal reclamation, I'll probably be defending myself in court tomorrow morning. So, because he got planning approval from both federal and state government.
But it didn't involve your ministry?
He did. That's what I'm here saying.
Okay.
That he got approval from the Ministry of Environment, that's the one, the FBT Corps.
Yes,
from. I mean, his application precedes even my coming to the Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development.
Okay. So on that, he's fine to kick on with whatever he's doing.
To kick on based on that.
So people that are saying it's illegal are not in the right?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So help us understand the one on the differentials and the nexus between your ministry, I'm in Lagos State now, and that of the federal government, because we're a coastal state. Lagos borders the Gulf of Guinea and all of that. So at what point people that are interested in doing things around the waterfront need to talk to Lagos or need to talk to the federal government or need to talk to both because of the uniqueness of the line? You know,
there have been issues in the past where who's in charge of this, who's responsible for this. There have been cases back and forth. In court, and they've been found. I think there was a Supreme Court judgment that spoke to lines 12 and 13, if I'm right, on the rights of the states over their inland waterways. Now, issues of navigational routes and other things are being handled by agencies like NEWA and all of the others. Of course, there were certain infringements in the past, or crossroads that have been resolved, that have been sorted now. Those who do this know what to do. It's like saying you want to be a developer, but you don't know where to go to when you want to build a home. Why do you think the Ministry of Environment continues to knock down those buildings on that block parts of draining paths? It's simply because they knew what to do, they didn't do it, and eventually it's come to bite them on the behind. Some take it that, oh, government does not have capacity, without realizing that they're making a huge mistake. Eventually it'll come to them. It happens everywhere in the world.
Honorable Commissioner, totally out of time. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. So, you know, sometimes I think we're doing better now than impositing your responsibility where it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It used to be urban planning, environment, waterfront. Where do we place who?
There's a reason, because we handshake a lot of these people. And the reason is just to make sure that we end up with the right results.
All right. Dayo Bush Alebiosu is the Commissioner of Waterfront Infrastructure Development, Lagos State. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
And just before we go, let's say that we've had a conversation with the APC, this is one of the spokesperson, Remy, on this issue of violence in the state. Nobody wants to kill, we should not be killing people because somebody has to be elected. So we're also extending an invitation to the Accord Party to come and have their own say. They say you're responsible for the killings. So it's a back and forth. So you have to come and defend yourself. So we're opening up the conversation to you as well. I'm Jeffrey Zong. Bye-bye.
And we hope that that handshake between ministries in Lagos is indeed firm and is translating into results, because we worry for the next round of rainfall in Lagos. There is refuse everywhere in practically all the medians. And we hope that the compactor trucks promised by the state governor are coming sooner rather than later. We'll be back again tomorrow for another edition. I am Bukola Koka.
We hear the traffic on the Lagos to Ibadan Expressway is still on. We're calling on the traffic agencies, so please run to that expressway and just ensure some respites. From Lagos, Nigeria, Kelly Egiga. Sunrise Daily is next. Please stay with us.